we should wait until Mark's done scrubbing the cast iron pan in the kitchen for our recording.
Well, there you go. He does scrub it, apparently.
Are you scrubbing the cast iron pan?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
I left that out for days because I was like, he doesn't wash it. He just puts salt in it, and I don't want to fuck it up.
I'm not, using soap. I'm just using water.
And what, a sponge?
A sponge or a scrubber brush?
No, this thing.
Oh, a wire mix. Oh, okay. So, if you couldn't guess, we're at Mark's house tonight. Me and Jenna are here at Mark's house with all 3 dogs.
All 3 of your dogs.
All
My
3
dogs.
of my dogs.
Home and cuddled in bed.
That's right. Okay, fine. One dog's Mark's, Indiana. And obviously Mark is also here. So this is going to be a super fun bonus lookup list for listeners. But this is the situation that we're at. So this is where we are. This is what's happening. And this is the lookup list for episode 21, which was Jennifer Marie Wilson in Flagstaff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a few lookup list things to share. I think, Jenna, you have
A couple.
But I wanted to start with a few, I like to call them housekeeping things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have one message from Instagram, one Apple review, and then also something from Patreon.
Okay.
So we got a message from somebody named Charlie on Instagram last week, I want to say. And I thought this was, first of all, as I've said many times, we get lots of great messages, and it would be annoying to listeners if I shared all of them. So to anyone who sends a wonderful message and I don't share it, not personal, just trying to keep things moderately concise.
It just means it's not as wonderful as Charlie's.
That's not true. I just thought this was an interesting one because he says, so I'm going to read it to you. He says, so this message came into where it says approve or deny this message. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the requested.
Request, yeah. Requesting to send a message on Instagram. So,
well, why do some people's fall under that if they don't follow your?
I think so.
Oh,
I think if
Charlie,
they don't,
why aren't you following?
he might be now because I
Yeah.
responded.
Got it.
Finally. So
Okay, go on.
So this is what his message says. It says, I have so many things to say. Psycho was based on Ed Gein, as was the character Leatherface. I enjoy your podcasts a lot. I agree that it is like visiting with friends, including whispering, what the fuck, to myself at some of the comments. Who doesn't know who Billy the Kid is? Haven't you seen Young Guns? I thought maybe it was an age thing. Then I realized my own children have watched that movie. Then he says, deciduous trees are trees that lose their leaves annually. And the whole woke thing is played out. Just keep on being yourselves. That is what makes the show enjoyable.
Good.
And I wrote him back today. It took me a week. We don't get like hundreds of messages, but we get enough messages that sometimes I get overwhelmed. So it takes me a moment to respond. But I finally responded to him today and I said, I fucking love your message. Because he calls us out on some stuff that we didn't know or got incorrect or whatever. But he also says, I really enjoy the podcast and keep being yourself. So I just thought it was a very honest and lovely message. I just had to check to make sure we're recording.
It sounds like it was. You just read it. It was.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of things like not necessarily Billy the Kid, but something, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, we were doing that bonus of like all the friggin' actors I should have. And I even felt it. But the second the question started to come out of your mouth, it's one of those things that I know I don't, it's like the things
Right.
the things you don't know. That was those.
Right.
And then the things you don't know that you don't know.
Right. Oh, I like that. That's a good quote right there. Anyways, thanks, Charlie. Yeah, thanks, Charlie. I liked that because, I just did. I liked it. It was honest. And then we've gotten a couple Apple reviews lately. We got one just on Thursday that I just saw today, and it's from Trisha A. Kimmel. And obviously I love this because it's 5 stars. She says, best true crime podcast. Hi from Iowa. I love your show. I mean, nothing better than getting a review like that. Although I like the reviews that have some constructive criticism. And we got one of those just recently from Phoenix. It's PHX/ASP0922 on Apple. So Phoenix / something. And the title is, I like this, good, not great. And it's 3 stars. And she says, ladies, too many sidebars. Just as you get into the meat of the story, you go off on a left turn, talking about weather or stray dogs or Tucson food scene. Just reel in the distraction for listeners a bit, which I don't disagree with. Sometimes we do go out on a tangent. I feel like a lot of that happens in the beginning, though. So I feel like I need to maybe in the show notes or something really highlight like, hey, up until 18 minutes, we're just shooting the shit and developing a sense of place. So if you're not into that, skip to here to get into the meat of the story.
But do you think she's only referring to the up top stuff, or maybe we go sideways other times?
I'm sure sometimes we go sideways other times, but realistically, we never have talked about weather or stray dogs in the middle of a story. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I can't recall, but it wouldn't shock me if we did. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
That's
Overall, it's mostly up top.
Yeah, it's mostly at the beginning. And
Which we got a different one day that said like, you guys are going on and on for about 20 minutes. It should be like maybe cut it back in half.
I know. And it's hard though, because I'm going to be brutally honest. I think that sometimes I end up leaving the sense of place a bit longer. I cut a lot. I always cut a lot because it's usually about 45 minutes. So I cut a lot. But I try to leave some of it because it's light. It's like we laugh a lot in the beginning. It's funny. And I feel like that's a good contrast to the rest of the episode, which is often pretty fucking dark, you know? But I do think maybe for some people it would be helpful, and I haven't been doing it, to include in the notes, like from the, minute 0 to minute 19, we're just doing sense of place. If you want to hear the story, you got to skip ahead because then people could just do that.
You could just say it, yeah.
Yeah. And then we also got, this is one other comment, good show, period. 4 stars. I really like the show, and I think the idea of one person not knowing anything about it is pretty cool. I like getting her genuine reaction and questions that come up. I do have one suggestion and a reason for the 4 out of 5 stars. Love that. I love how she explains it. And she said, and that is that I think the intros are way too long. The sense of place and trivia, while I think are good ideas, are just too drawn out. I usually skip through them after about 5 to 7 minutes. In an hour-long episode, a 15-minute intro is just too long. I don't disagree. She's not wrong.
I think that's what I was just referring to when I said whatever I said.
I think she's right. She's the kind of, what do you call it? Like if you're weighing the episode, if it's only an hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of intro, yeah, that is a lot. 3/4 of it being an intro?
Wait, what was that math? 3/4? 1/4? 15 minutes out of an hour.
Yes,
okay,
thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
But still, yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot. So maybe I do in the editing. I don't think when we record, we're ever going to be able to cut it back because I just enjoy the intros. But yeah, maybe in the editing, I need to cut it back more. And actually this week, I cut so much out of the intro, but it was good. So I just put it up on Patreon.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I figured we have 6 patrons now, and if they are spending their hard-earned $5 a month to follow us on Patreon, I should give them something that no one else is getting. So I gave them all of the deleted sense of place stuff and just random conversations that we had. So any of those 6 patrons listening, if you liked it, let us know.
Yep.
That's all I got for reviews and we've gotten a lot of Instagram stuff, but that's as much as I'm going to go into on here. And we're going to jump into this lookup for Jennifer Marie Wilson. I'm going to go first because
you sounded really joyful when you said the dead person's name.
Yeah, Jennifer Marie Wilson.
No, it's fine. It's just I noted that. Yeah, go ahead. Go on.
Okay. So one of the lookup things on your list was Flagstaff as a training ground for astronauts. So I didn't really talk about that or like what that meant or how that came to be. So Flagstaff, Arizona has a long history as a training ground for astronauts. The rugged terrain and geology of the region is similar to what astronauts might encounter on other planets, making it an ideal location for testing equipment, practicing exploration techniques, and conducting scientific research, which I thought was super cool. And also made me think, wait, what parts of Flagstaff look like other like Sedona looks like Mars, maybe?
Well, something I'll get into, so maybe I'll do one of mine after this one.
Okay, fine. Good. In the 1960s, NASA began sending astronauts to Flagstaff to train for upcoming missions to the moon. The region's volcanic craters, lava flows, and other geological features were used to simulate the lunar landscape, allowing astronauts to practice driving lunar rovers, collecting rock samples, and other activities. Today, the U.S. Geological Survey's Astrogeology Science Center, based in Flagstaff, continues to provide training opportunities for astronauts and conduct research on the geology of other planets. They work closely with NASA. This is interesting. In addition to its role as a training ground for astronauts, Flagstaff is home to several other important space-related institutions, including Lowell Observatory, which we talked about, where the planet Pluto was discovered in 1930, the Naval Observatory Flagstaff Station, which conducts research on the positions and motions of celestial bodies. And that is all I have on Flagstaff as a training ground for astronauts. So I will give it to you now to follow up on that.
Expound on that, but it's going to take me a minute, and I'm not
Okay.
really going to expand. But you said what part of Flagstaff could be looking like other planets, or
Right.
Okay, so we said something about Meteor Crater. What did we say about it?
Well, I started talking about how, and just for anyone listening, any like background stuff you're hearing, Mark is just cooking up a storm in the kitchen. So we're not going to have him stop because we're hungry. And also apologies for any kind of background noise, kitchen noise that you might hear. So I talked about Lowell Observatory and Pluto and the Flagstaff as a training ground. And you had said at that time,
Something about
you were
Meteor
like, well,
Crater.
are you going to talk about Meteor Crater? And I was like, what's that? And you were like, what?
Yeah.
And I had never heard of it. I had no idea.
Well, let me tell you about it.
Please
Because
do.
when I was going to NAU, I think I took an astronomy course. I don't really know. Initially, my major was news media. I wanted to be a weather person. I don't know.
A meteorologist?
Yeah,
I could totally see
well,
that.
now, almost 20 years later, I want to be that.
I could
as well.
totally see
I don't know if I
that.
knew meteorologist. I thought I wanted to be a newscaster, which that part alone
Journalist or
seems
something?
kind of ridiculous. But anyways, doesn't
I
matter.
can see it.
So I learned about Meteor Crater because, I lived in Flagstaff, and we went on like a university field trip for one of my
Cool.
courses. So Meteor Crater is about a little bit less than 40 miles east of Flagstaff and 18 miles west of Winslow in northern Arizona. And it sits at an elevation of over 5,500 feet above sea level. Meteor Crater is almost 4,000 feet in diameter, 500 diameter.
Right. So across, but 4,000 feet. I'm like trying, me in distances.
Me too.
I can't even imagine what that is. Like 4,000 feet is what, from Mark's house to your house? From Mark's house to my house? I'm trying to imagine 4,000 feet.
How many feet is
A
it?
little bit of information.
Okay.
Mount Lemon, the peak of it is at 8,000 feet, so it's half as tall as Mount Lemon.
Wow.
Okay, so it's like way
From the bottom of Mount Lemon to halfway
up
up
is 4,000 feet.
is how big it is
Whoa.
across.
Okay, huge.
560 feet deep. And listeners may be like, what is she talking about? I'll get there.
Okay, great. Because I was like, what are you talking about?
Right. So Meteor Crater. Think about a crater, a meteor that hits the Earth.
A crater is like a big hole in the earth. Okay.
Caused by a meteor. Yeah.
I think of like a crater pimple. It's like a big,
Well, think about that in
big
the Earth.
dip in your face.
Think about that in the Earth.
Okay.
Okay, so it just sits at 5,600 feet above sea level. It's almost 4,000 feet in diameter, 560 feet deep, and it's surrounded by a rim. At first I was like, what does this mean? That rises almost 200 feet above the surrounding plains. So think about that what do you call it? Like a
Crater in your face.
Crater in your face. Think if you're, oh no, I shouldn't go here, but think about if a meteor hits the ground. Sure, it goes deep, however deep in the ground, but
There's some blowback.
Yeah.
And that's like a lip around the edge, kind of?
So look, it's a very teeny photo.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can picture that. We'll post that.
Yep. Okay, so this meteor crater is considered the best, quote unquote, best preserved meteorite crater on Earth. It's not protected as a national monument, but it was designated by the National Natural Landmark Society in 1967, which is just a program that aims to encourage and support voluntary preservation of sites that illustrate these really awesome, I added that word in, geological and ecological places that demonstrate awesome history of the United States. So
Okay, wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So this is in Flagstaff.
It's a little bit more than 30 miles east of Flagstaff.
Like you can drive and go see it.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah.
And it's like, it's outdoors, obviously.
I'll get there.
Okay, great. Sorry.
The crater was created apparently around 50,000 years ago during the Pleistocene era, when the local climate of the Colorado Plateau, which is where this area is, was much cooler and damper. The area was an open grassland dotted with woodlands inhabited by mammoths and giant ground sloths. Cool. You know I want to know about that. So I could tell you, in the 19th century, it came to the attention of scientists after American settlers encountered it in the 19th century. The crater was given a lot of different names: Coon Mountain, Coon Butte, Crater Mountain, Meteor Mountain, and Meteor Crater, which that's the one that stuck.
I like that.
The crater, which was excavated, I don't have the exact year, but in the 19th century, they found the crater was a nickel iron meteorite about 160 feet across. So that's what came from
Outer
space and made that huge impact and that huge crater. Wow. The speed of the impact has been subject to some debate, but a lot of studies suggest that it was moving. The meteorite struck at up to 45,000 miles an hour. Whoa. There's a lot more there, so look it up if you're more interested. I didn't want to go on and on more than I already am. Today, Meteor Crater, which was the name that stuck, is a popular tourist destination with around 270,000 visitors per year. It's also an important educational and research site and is used to train Apollo astronauts and continues to be an active training site for astronauts. And this might help give people a sense of place, I guess, about Meteor Crater. The visitor center of Meteor Crater sits on the north rim. I wrote of the crater, but yes, right there. And it features interactive exhibits and displays about meteorites, asteroids, space, the solar system, and comets.
Wow.
It's a cool place. So when I went to visit, you park up here, let's say. You can't go in the crater, but it is impressive.
Wow. I'm so mad that we were just in Flagstaff and we didn't see this. That would have been so
impressive.
Cool.
And it's kind of freaky. 50,000 years ago. It's like, okay,
it's hard to picture that.
But then you see this, it's scary. And meteorites.
Yeah, imagine if you were standing right there when it hit.
Well, there were no, I shouldn't say that. I don't think there were human, let's cut that. You die. And also, this was considered a meteorite, which to me means
smaller.
Okay, but so Meteor Crater, if you're in northern Arizona, if you're going to Grand Canyon, Flagstaff, Winslow, Sedona, look it up and check it out. It's really cool.
I really want to check it out. I'm so
really
happy
cool.
Ugh, really interesting.
Yep.
Meteor Crater. I like that name too.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, cool. We're gonna stick on this cosmological. That's not a word, is it? Mm-hmm. Cosmological. That's definitely not a word.
We're gonna stick in kind of the
cosmology.
Astro-cosmo era.
Space.
Space.
We talked about Pluto because Pluto was discovered at Lowell Observatory, which is at NAU, or Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff. And I think at the time, I don't know if I left this in the episode or cut it, but you had said like Pluto was a planet. It's not anymore, right?
Yeah.
And I said like, yeah, I think that's right. But I didn't,
Yeah.
we were a little loose about it. So Pluto is a dwarf planet located in the outer reaches of our solar system beyond the orbit of Neptune. It was discovered in 1930 by Clyde Tombaugh and was considered the 9th planet of our solar system until 2006, when the International Astronomical Union redefined the criteria for what constitutes a planet. Under the new definition, a planet must meet 3 criteria. It must orbit the sun, it must be large enough to have a spherical shape, and it must have cleared its orbit of other debris. Pluto meets the first 2 criteria, but fails to meet the third as it shares its orbit with other icy objects in the Kuiper belt. Therefore, Pluto is no longer considered a planet, but rather a dwarf planet under the IAU's classification. However, it is still an important and fascinating object of study for astronomers, and there are ongoing missions to study it, such as the New Horizons spacecraft that flew by Pluto in 2015, providing valuable insights into its geology, atmosphere, and composition.
What is the IAU?
It is the International Astronomical Union. Yeah.
And when they, I guess, the IAU classified it no longer as a solar system planet and yet a dwarf planet, didn't they bring in, I'm thinking now about astrology and not astronomy.
Oh, what were you going to say?
Because there used to be however many, 10 astrological signs. So you're Leo.
Yeah.
I'm Sagittarius, but I don't know when, a handful of years ago, whoever they are, the astrologers, added a 11th, or added an additional
one
that my birthday fell under. Well, put that on the next lookup list.
What? Really?
Yeah. Okay.
So like you could have been in a different zodiac?
Look.
Do you think that you are very much like Sagittarius? Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm so much like Leo. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether I believe in that or not, or like if it's always true. I don't think anything's always true, but like I am so very Leo. It's scary. I think when I read some of the, typical Leo stuff.
Yeah. I think a lot of it fits in line with a lot of people. I think I've met a lot of people who, if they read about their astrological sign,
they're like, that's me.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Now, is that like a thing where like anyone could kind of, I don't know. But yeah, okay, so this.
Okay, wait, I have a question before you say that.
Yeah.
If you could tell me the top 3 things about Sagittarius, what are they? Common denominators.
Wanderlust, like urge for travel, something about like independence and.
Well, both of those sound like you.
Yeah, wanderlust, the independence, and also really interested in new ideas. Also, what Sagittarius is half man, half horse, I think.
Sagittarians are typically outspokenly optimistic who elicit respect and affection, loyal, smart, assertive, and compassionate.
That doesn't sound like me.
That doesn't sound like what I've read in the past about Sagittarius.
Well, that's not me.
Fair-minded, intellectual, lovers of freedom. That sounds like you. Yeah, that does.
I mean, that part. But again, like maybe it's, because different websites or different books.
A Sagittarius is both a warrior and a poet.
So what is
they
it?
hold
the
a
centaur?
firearm in one hand and a book in the other.
Huh.
Wow, I didn't know that. I guess I don't. I mean, I realistically don't know much about. No, the Sagittarius. Oh yeah, you're right. It's this.
It's a centaur.
It's the
half man, half horse.
Yeah, holding a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Pursues learning, teaching, and study. Says what's on their mind.
That doesn't sound like me. Like I've always. So this one
needs freedom.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, that I feel like you do pursue learning. You pursue a lot of different
curiosity,
creative, curious endeavors. You love to travel. Like I think that those philosophical
I'm not necessarily outgoing, but I can be with people I feel comfortable with.
Certainly.
So, yeah, I guess that it could be. This is what I was talking about. I don't know how to say it. Right?
Ophiuchus? I have no fucking idea.
All right. Well, this is the one that, like, at some point has been suggested as the 13th. So the traditional 12.
Mm-hmm.
Traditional 12, and this is the 13th.
Okay.
From November 29th to December 18th. And I don't need to get into all of it, but that's what I was referring to, this presumed 13th one that I fell under. And that's all. It doesn't really say anything about it. I didn't look into it, but yours is like likes to outgoing, likes to be heard or seen or not center of attention.
No, center of attention is definitely one of them. This I just found this list, and this is like honestly pretty spot on. You're loyal to the people you care about. You can be criticized for being self-centered. You can be self-conscious. You want the people you date to obsess over you. Totally true. You take a long time to get ready. You express yourself creatively. You hate feeling ignored. You're a natural leader. You can be very dramatic. I mean, I feel like all of those things is me almost exactly.
But also think about like
almost exactly.
Mark, I think, again, everything's on a spectrum.
He's a Leo too.
He's a Leo as well.
Yeah.
So I could connect maybe some of those. I don't know him like
I think
his ins and outs, but
I think very much he doesn't take a long time to get ready in the morning or necessarily he does express himself creatively a little bit, but like, yeah, he can be self-centered, self-conscious. And Leos tend to be showy and loud. And yeah, I mean, like I've almost read nothing about a Leo where I'm like, not me.
Yeah.
It's almost exact, which is, I don't think is, I don't know. It's neither here nor there. I'm not sure. Okay.
Where do we go from here? Mine or yours?
What's your next one?
I just have one more, and it's about one of my favorite things in life.
Which is? Oh my God.
I paused. It's not really, but one of my favorite alcoholic beverages.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, do that. Because none of mine really connect to any of this anyways. So
this one doesn't either. So it's a real quick one. You mentioned that somewhere after Jennifer Marie Wilson was
found dead,
there were some things found around and
near her body and in the GMC or the Blazer. Jimmy.
Yeah, the Jimmy.
Yeah.
One of them was Suntory vodka bottles.
Yes, there was a case found in the car
of little ones, or what?
I want to say they were 8 ounces, which is small.
I have it written. 50 milliliter bottle.
Okay, so but there was like 20 of there was a case.
Maybe I don't know what that. Either way,
but 2 were missing, and then those 2 empty ones were found by the body.
So I think I had said, maybe you cut it, but what Suntory vodka? I've never heard of that.
Right.
It's kind of interesting because when I looked it up, and so when was this?
88.
88. So maybe it was. I don't think it was different. It just sounds kind of high end, which I guess murderers can have high end taste in vodka. So it's Suntory Haku, Haku vodka, a Japanese vodka brought to life by the House of Suntory.
Wow.
It's a Japanese premium craft vodka made with 100% Japanese white rice.
Weird.
Interesting. You know, I know there's like
potato
vodka and grain vodka. Well, I guess that would be rice though, no? Grain would be rice. Anyways, okay, so Japanese premium craft vodka made with 100% Japanese white rice. The name Haku, Haku, means white in Japanese, and the word can also be read as brilliant, a tribute to the craft of mastering a clear, clean-tasting, and luminous vodka. It's interesting. This is filtered through bamboo charcoal.
Cool.
Wait, yeah, I wanted to say it's cool. Hold on. It's filtered through bamboo charcoal. This vodka has an unparalleled, soft, round, and subtly sweet taste.
Wow. Vodka just tastes like crap to me all the time, but I still drink it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, like I've had like expensive vodka, cheap vodka, like Popov vodka and Grey Goose vodka, and I can't really tell the difference between any of it, to be honest.
I
Maybe if you
can't
lined them up in shots.
see. I think I can tell a difference in maybe how I feel the next day.
Yes,
and if I'm
that.
going Popov, or what's the even worse one? I feel like Mark could chime in here.
What's the worst vodka than Popov vodka?
Like at Bison Witches,
Well, there's
like
like Wolfschmidt,
Wolfschmidt's terrible. What's the?
but it's like Heaven Hills. With
That's
maple
it.
syrup.
That's
Well, what's funny is like in the 50s and stuff, like if you were like rich in Manhattan and you were like on Wall Street, you go to the best restaurant and be all, I'll take a Wolfschmidt martini.
Yeah.
It's the only thing you can get.
yeah. It's
Oh.
It's only in the last like 20 or 30 some years that people started actually like producing vodka that was like, oh, it was so much better. You know,
Is it so much better?
Well, I think some of it is, but honestly, like Smirnoff, like generally wins like the taste test. Of all
It does.
Like, every year.
it does over Grey Goose.
Really?
You take out like the bullshit, you filter it enough, and then
Take out the fancy bottle.
yeah, and then really it's the difference between potato and grain vodka. Potato's smoother, grain's a little more harsh, but yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I drink it if I have the money.
Maybe we'll do a vodka tasting because I think that's how they do it in shots, like vodka tasting. And Smirnoff, he's right. Smirnoff wins above and beyond.
Let's do that. I will hate this, but that'd be interesting for me. I don't know if it'd be interesting for
Hill.
listeners.
So, yeah, I just thought, and also I went to the website. So, of course, they have it, it looks beautiful. And maybe it was beautiful. This Suntory
It's a cool name.
also produces whiskey and gin.
Interesting.
That's it.
Okay. I think we talked about how safe we felt when we lived in Flagstaff during the episode, and like how I would leave my door unlocked. Like I walked around. I would like walk home from the bar at 3:00 in the morning. I don't think I said that, but I would, and never felt worried. Like Flagstaff always felt very safe to me. So I just looked up kind of crime and murder rates in Flagstaff versus, well, I tried to look up Flagstaff, Phoenix, Tucson, but I just got Flagstaff versus Phoenix. Realistically, obviously, Phoenix, I don't have it in front of me. It's significantly bigger than Flagstaff. It's a totally different place.
Well, and also the population.
Right. That's what I mean. Like so
Yeah.
many more people.
Yeah.
Like no shit that there's going to be more crime there. But looking at the actual statistics, and these are, our story took place, or the story took place in 1988. These are from 2003 or 2023. So Flagstaff, the crime index, I don't know what that means, but it's 22 in Flagstaff. It's 53 in Phoenix. And the safety scale, like how safe I guess you should feel out of 100, I'm guessing, in Flagstaff is 77.8. In Phoenix, it's 46. And so then I just have like a bunch of other. So level of crime in Flagstaff in 2023, very low, 18%. In Phoenix, 63%, very high. Worries about home being broken into and things being stolen, very low, 18% in Flagstaff. Moderate in Phoenix, 54%. The biggest difference was problem with people using or dealing drugs in Flagstaff, low, 37%, which I'm assuming now since pot's legal, it's lower. Phoenix, high, 66%. Problem with property crimes such as vandalism or theft, 25%, very low in Flagstaff, 62% high in Phoenix. And then I found this really interesting just because I've never really walked alone in Phoenix, but I have in Flagstaff. So how safe people feel walking alone during daylight in Flagstaff, very high, 93%. Phoenix, still high, 71%. Safety walking alone during the night, high in Flagstaff, 68%, which I fully agree with. Phoenix, 37%, low.
Which that all kind of tracks based on just what I know. Also the population, the type of city, the vibe. And also it's very subjective, right? Like it could be based on someone's highly anxious, or 100 people in Flagstaff are this anxious and 100 people or 1,000 in Phoenix have this high anxiety.
Right.
Or Tempe or Flagstaff.
Wait, what?
Tempe or Scottsdale.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's true. Phoenix, I guess, has a lot of different areas. I'm just thinking like Phoenix proper. I don't know if there is one.
Well, that's probably what the statistics refer to.
Yeah, Scottsdale's probably a bit safer. But also,
I think about, this makes me think about the, what was it? The murders that kind of recently happened in November of 2022 in Idaho.
Yeah.
Where I watched some of that stuff. Everyone kept their doors open.
Yep.
It was an artsy, teeny town.
Yep.
That went pretty quiet during the summer. I mean, so that's not to scare anyone. It's also just to say, and I am like inherently someone that might be like overly not trusting of humans, but of like places, new places. I'm like, oh, I feel safe.
Right.
Because I feel confident in my own abilities. And also lock your doors just in general if you have locks.
Yep. Because you never know.
Yep.
That's true. You could be in a very safe place and there could be one deranged person who comes through.
Yep.
We talked about Route 66.
Route 66.
Fuck.
I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong, but it's just that people know it as Route 66.
It's Route 66. It is. Why do I keep saying route? I don't know. Route 66. And I think I left this in, but I'm not sure, where I said, like, it goes through Flagstaff, and you were like, it ends in Flagstaff. And then I was like, no, but I have it that it ends in California. You were like, oh shit, it ends in California. Yeah. So it does. Route 66 is a historic highway that runs from Chicago, Illinois to Santa Monica, California, covering a distance of approximately 2,448 miles. It was established in 1926 and became one of the most famous roads in the United States, serving as a major transportation artery for people traveling west during the Dust Bowl of the 1930s and post-World War II era. It originally passed through 8 states: Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. Had a lot of distinctive roadside attractions, interesting motels, gas stations, diners, tourist traps. Some of the most iconic landmarks include the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, the Blue Whale of Catoosa, Oklahoma, and the Wigwam Motel in Holbrook, Arizona.
Wigwam.
I like that word. Playing an important role in American history, not just as a transportation route, but also as a symbol.
See, that one didn't trigger my ears.
It just must be the 66, Route 66. It was also a symbol of the country's westward expansion and its embrace of the automobile. The highway was featured in popular culture, including the famous song Route 66 by Bobby Troop and the TV show Route 66, which aired from 1960 to 1964. Yeah, more than I ever wanted to know about Route 66, but cool.
Going west.
Yeah. You're one of your top podcasts. Yeah. I actually saw, did I send you that they were featured in Apple on Apple Podcasts at the top?
Actually, I don't know, but I think you did.
I'm sure they don't
but
listen,
it doesn't maybe shock me, so I'm just like, yeah, I saw that.
Oh, it's just such a huge, it's just so cool. It's so awesome. We've been trying to get up on that Apple editorial, like the top scroll through on Apple for months. I keep applying and we keep not getting it.
Well, also, Going West is over 300 episodes, so patience is a virtue.
Totally. Absolutely. I think I cut these next 2 and I just posted them on Patreon. I think I said this at the beginning episode, maybe, or the lookup list that we cut a bunch of stuff and I just put it on Patreon for those people. Cause I didn't say those people, but like for our patrons, because I want to be able to give them something that we're not giving to anybody else. They're paying money to be part of our Patreon, which we're honestly not great at this point, doing the best we can, but not great. So we put that up there, but anyways, in our sense of place, I think I talked about the museum club and the Flagstaff Sanatorium. And again, if you're not a patron, you didn't hear this, but you're going to hear it now. And the Museum Club is a historic music venue in Flagstaff that has a fascinating history. The building that now houses the Museum Club, which is like a bar and live music venue, it was originally built in the 1930s as a taxidermy shop. It was known as the Saddle and Spurs Club and was owned by a man named Dean Eldridge. In the 40s, Eldridge converted the taxidermy shop into a bar and dance hall called the Museum Club. The name was inspired by the various animal heads and other taxidermy displays that remained in the building. I want to say that at one point, I don't have it in front of me, but I think it had like 90,000 or something taxidermied animals. I think I said that in the episode. I can't.
And
totally
I probably
remember.
said, no.
Oh, you did say
I'd like to
see.
go. They're
You
already
did.
dead. I don't have to see them suffering. Just like the
exactly
taxidermy
what you
place
said.
out here, at
Desert
the west
Museum.
side. No,
Oh,
it's called something else. It's not yes, I like the Desert Museum, but
that's live animals.
right in the
Okay,
wild.
got it.
Yep.
Got it. What is the place that you're talking about? Is it like at Star Pass?
It's past that. It's on the west side. I can't recall because
Okay.
I've never been, but I want to go. But
Okay.
Michael continually tells me, you don't want to go.
No, I agree with you that like it's not sad because they're already dead, so it's fine. I mean, I don't love it, but it's fine.
I think it'd be fascinating.
Fascinating. Okay. Over the years, the Museum Club has hosted performances by people such as Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, and Waylon Jennings.
Ooh.
The venue's stage has also been graced by numerous up-and-coming musicians as well as local bands and performers. It still has apparently a lot of taxidermy displays.
Wait, so it still exists, this bar club, the
Yeah.
Museum Club?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what it is, where it is?
I have heard of it, but I don't think I've actually been, but the pictures look really cool. And it's like a very hopping place in Flagstaff these days.
Oh, it's off, Route 66.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty cool. Yeah. And my last one was about the Flagstaff TB Sanatorium. This was another piece that we cut from the beginning, but because the Flagstaff Medical Center used to be the Flagstaff TB Sanatorium. It was a medical facility that was opened in 1910. So I mentioned this in the episode. Again, this was cut, but I said TB stands for tuberculosis, right? Because I didn't really research deep into it when we were doing Sense of Place. And you were like, I don't know, probably.
Well, tuberculosis, I think, could make people go crazy. I don't know. Is that part of it?
Yeah, I think you literally said that, and I was like, yeah, I think so. But I cut it, and I didn't look that deep into it. So now,
Did you know?
I did now.
Oh.
So it was a medical facility that was opened in 1910 to treat patients suffering from tuberculosis. At the time, tuberculosis was a major health concern in the U.S., and the Flagstaff area was considered an ideal location for a sanatorium due to its high altitude and dry climate. The sanatorium consisted of a complex of buildings situated on a hill overlooking the city of Flagstaff. During its operation, it was the forefront of tuberculosis treatment and research. The medical staff pioneered new treatments and techniques for combating the disease, and many patients were successfully cured of tuberculosis during their stay at the facility. However, with the development of new drugs and treatments in the 1950s and 60s, the need for sanatoriums declined, and it eventually closed in 1965. The former site of the Flagstaff TB Sanatorium is part of the campus of Northern Arizona University. The main building has been renovated and repurposed as a student residence hall known as the Hilltop Townhomes. Other buildings on the site have been repurposed for various uses, including a child care center, a wellness center, and a conference center. Oh, I thought it was the Flagstaff Medical Center. I guess I was wrong.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Do you know how I just said? And of course, this is where my mind went because I think about sanatorium and I think like a mental. It's
Yeah.
not.
Oh, what is it?
Well, I started thinking that as you were talking.
I thought it
'Cause I
was.
just made that connection. I don't know if TB makes people go kind of mental. I said crazy, I think. But I just looked it up because I was thinking, shit, I just made that connection out of nowhere because
I
I was
thought that
thinking
too.
of sanitarium or something.
Oh,
A sanatorium is an establishment for the medical treatment of people who are convalescing or have a chronic illness.
oh, okay. What did you say? What's the other one? You just not sanatorium, sanitarium.
Yes.
What's that?
Okay, it is.
That's got to be for
Now I lost it.
mental illnesses.
Okay, sanatorium versus Oh, here.
An establishment. Oh no, it's the same thing. Sanitarium says an establishment for the medical treatment of people who are convalescing or have a chronic illness. Oh, what is a sanitarium versus a sanatorium? They're interchangeable.
Yes, so I'm wrong. I just wanted to like back up because I just like said, oh,
No,
one,
I fully agree with
TB
you.
made people go crazy, which isn't true, I don't think. And also, a sanitarium isn't just for mental health patients. It's for chronic illness.
Totally. And you're right. Tuberculosis. Most people that have tuberculosis don't have symptoms. When they do occur, it usually includes a cough, weight loss, night sweats, and a fever. So weirdly, I fully was in the same mindset as you, that I thought it like caused kind of insanity or like
Well,
a
a lot
bit
of people probably do.
Yeah.
Just because I think people do. That something about the word sanitarium.
Yeah, it does.
Now
All
we
right,
know.
Well, good. We've corrected it. So there we have it. And
There it
that
is.
That's it. That's our whole lookup list for episode 21. And thanks for listening. Happy, what's today? Friday?
Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, it is Cinco de Mayo. This will come out probably tomorrow or Sunday, but thank you so much for listening.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We'll be back with a new episode on Tuesday. And
Hug your loved ones.
there you go. That's it. All right. Night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.